Hi everyone, welcome. My name's Tom. Today I'm going to take you through a 10 to 15 minute practice just to quickly show you and give you some instruction about the Chaturanga Dandasana. So the Chaturanga, it's a very strength-based posture. It utilizes every muscle in the body, or at least most. Traditionally, it was used most prominently, really all lineages, but most prominently in the Ashtanga yoga sequence, which was derived from Pattabhi Jois and his teacher Krishnamacharya, so back in India. And it's used really in the transitional sequence into an upward facing dog and back into a downward facing dog. And it uses all the muscles of the shoulders, the chest, the upper, mid, lower back, also your abdomen and your legs, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But let's just get warmed up. If you have a block, you can place it nearby. If you don't, or if you want to use a substitute, something a little bit softer, you can use a pillow just off your couch, off a chair, off your bed, what have you. Really just be using it for a little bit of fun and more of a cushion as we practice the Chaturanga, yeah? So let's get some warm up in. Come up to the top of your mat. Just bring your feet to hip width apart. And we'll just start with 3 sun salutations, not getting into a full Chaturanga, but more of a knees, chest, chin, down to a cobra pose. So let's breathe in, raise your arms up to the ceiling, and look up past your thumbs as your palms touch. Keep pressing into your feet. As you exhale, release your legs, release your hips and spine, come down to the mat. Good, inhale. Use your fingertips or place the hands onto the shins into a halfway lift so the spine becomes long. You're reaching out to the crown of your head. And then exhale, plant your palms to the mat. Step back to a high plank or a high push-up. Now stay here for just a moment. Position the shoulders right over the wrists. Keep your fingertips spread, your palms pressing down. Now feet are about hip width, maybe slightly wider apart. Now press into the balls of your feet and reach back through your heels. And I want you to feel your thighs begin to engage. Your kneecaps lifting toward your hip joints. You feel that? Press into your hands, lift the upper back. So there's a slight rounding sensation. There's a little bit of a rounding posture. And this will allow you to breathe into the space of the upper back. Now breathe in, press into your toes, come a little bit more forward. Exhale, bring your knees, chest, and chin down to the mat. Release your hips and legs, and breathe in, come to a low cobra pose. Press into the pelvis, press into your feet, squeeze the muscles of your lower back, and slightly draw the shoulders back and down. Good, exhale, release, press back, downward facing dog. Take a few breaths. Feel free to walk the dog. Bend your knees. Lift the feet, move your hips from side to side, your chest and shoulders, even your head and neck. Good, exhale. Now breathe and come up high into your tippy toes, straighten your legs, look forward, and exhale, bend your knees and step up to the top of the mat. Take a breath in, come to a halfway lift, so fingertips to the floor, hands to your shins, flat spine. Exhale, release your legs, fold forward. Come to standing. Inhale, sweep your arms up. Look up past your thumbs as they touch. Exhale, release and fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your palms. Exhale, step back to a high plank. Good, press into your feet. Inhale, come forward. Stay here for a breath or two. I want to talk about the hips now. So a little bit elevated. Sometimes we can come to this pose with the hips down, as if you need to be a flat board from your shoulders or the back of your neck down to your heels. In some schools of thought that's cool, that's okay. There's no right or wrong here. I'm going to suggest that you lift the hips up a little bit more. So you can engage the belly, you can engage your thighs, and you're finding more stability and lightness within the posture. Doesn't that feel good? It sounds good. Exhale. Breathe and press into your hands, lift the upper back. Exhale, drop the knees, chest and chin down to the floor. Release your hips and legs. Breathe in, baby cobra. Squeeze the lower back. Exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Good, come up high into your tippy toes, straighten your legs, look forward. Exhale, bend your knees and step up top of the mat. Inhale to a halfway lift, feet hip width apart, flat spine. Exhale, release your legs and fold. Come to standing, breathe in, sweep your arms up. Look up past your thumbs as they touch. Good, exhale, last time. Release down to the floor. Inhale, halfway lift. Plant your palms, step back, high plank. Breathe in, come forward, we'll put it together. Exhale, knees, chest, chin. Release your hips and legs, inhale, baby cobra. And exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Take a breath or two. And take the knees down to the mat, sit back onto the heels. Very nice. So you see how a Chaturanga is very heat activating, very engaging. Not just Chaturanga, but a sun salutation. It's very warming exercise. So what we're gonna do next is talk about how to, because a Chaturanga is really a low push-up, right? So using a lot of pectoral strength, a lot of shoulder strength, triceps, biceps, forearms, and your upper back, mid-back as well. So firstly, place your prop. If you have a block or you have a pillow, I kind of recommend a pillow. It's a little bit more fun for this exercise. Just place it right in front of your knees, yeah? And then from here, you're sitting back onto your heels and your ankles. Take your hands out just like you were into a high plank, but at least as if you're leaning against a wall. So my instruction here was to lift the hips up a little bit, so there's more of a buoyancy around the pelvis, a sense of lightness around the pelvis, and more stability or opportunity for stability around your core and your lower back. So you hug the belly in towards your lower spine. And as you press into the mat, so go ahead and reach out through your palms and your wrists, yeah, and then lift or press back through the upper spine here. So your shoulder blades are starting to spread apart, right? Your triceps are engaged as you press forward from the heels of your palms. You feel that? Now take an inhale to that space of your upper back. Yeah, exhale, draw your belly into your spine. Inhale to your upper back. Exhale, belly to spine. Cool. It might feel awkward, it might look awkward, but that's at least, that's the gist of it, yeah? So from here, instead of taking the elbows out to the sides as we come into a push-up, you're gonna take the elbows in, so it's a lot of tricep strength, a lot of deltoid and shoulder strength, and you're gonna lower down towards the floor just until the shoulders and the elbows come to the same line. So the arms may or may not be in a 90-degree or an L-shaped angle, but at least the elbows and shoulders at the same line. One of the things that we as teachers, instructors see a lot is the shoulders come up and they come forward. Sometimes they go back because we're really just trying to find any strength that we have to hold ourselves in this position, and most often we just, kind of collapse onto the floor. That's okay, that's okay. We're here to try to help with that process, yeah, and just develop a little bit of strength so you can find that mobility. And if you can come here into this low push-up position, then you're halfway there, over halfway there. I mean, this is the hardest part, the more strengthening part. Everything else is pressing away into an upward facing dog, which is really another class in itself. So you come down, the hands don't move, the fingers are spread, you're pressing into the mat, right? You're slightly domed across the upper back, and the shoulders and elbows come down to the same line. So that's what we're gonna do with this pillow, okay? Because we're just gonna come down to the chest, grazes on the pillow. If you find yourself sleeping, then you've probably gone a little bit too far. But just come down, graze the pillow, shoulders and elbows at the same line, and hug your elbows in, okay? If you find yourself doing the chicken wing, you've gone too far. You need to pull the elbows in, really squeeze the sides of the body, and squeeze the core. You'll notice that even if you squeeze the elbows in, you're gonna squeeze your core as well. It's just natural. and the legs are nice and firm, which is gonna help stabilize your lower body. Let's do that, you ready? So come forward, knees and feet stay where they are. We're gonna practice this on the knees first. Even take the legs back a little bit further and hands out on the mat as if you're coming into a downward facing dog. In fact, go ahead and do so. Downward facing dog. Feet hip width apart. Press into the hands. Your forehead might just be grazing your pillow or your prop, your block, whatever you have. Good. Take the knees down to the mat. Keep them there. I want you to bring the chest and the hips forward so the shoulders are right over the wrists. Yeah? Shoulders right over the wrists. And now slowly pull your hands back towards you. Don't let the position change. Hug the elbows in as you bend, and your belly, your lower chest is just gonna graze the pillow. Now stay here. Shoulders and elbows at the same line. Draw your shoulders back a little bit. Keep the belly engaged. That's it. And then inhale, press into the hands. Lift yourself back up. And exhale back onto the feet. So you can repeat this exercise a few times, which is really a supported push-up position. It's kind of what it is. Yeah, it's a push-up. But keep the elbows in. Keep the elbows in. The moment you start to feel the elbows coming apart, maybe stop just shy of that position, okay? So if you're coming down and the elbows are starting to come out here, yeah, that's fine, stay there. What I want you to do is pull the lower belly in. Do you see how when I came down, the elbows came out and I kind of sat into my lower back, I collapsed into my lower back a little bit? My belly's not engaged. So now, hug your belly in, lift your lower back towards the ceiling, and hug the elbows back in. If this is as far as you can go, stay here. Maybe go a little bit further. Go ahead, try it now. Go a little bit further, shoulders back, elbows in, keep your core engaged. Good, and press into the mat, slowly come up. Interesting, isn't it? If you feel it here, if you feel the strength happening here, if you feel a lot of tension in the front of your shoulders, you need to come more forwards, right? So sometimes we can actually press the mat away so that the arms and hands are out here, and we're hugging the elbows in nice and tight. But as you come more forwards and the hands go further back or further down the body, yeah, and the shoulders come more forward, you're starting to use more of your chest, tricep, and upper back strength, which are bigger muscles than the front of your shoulder. Cool? Let's do that one more time. Come forward with your hands. Shoulders come forward over the wrists. There you are. Your knees are still on the floor. You're still supported. Maybe tuck your toes underneath this time. I have a little smile because you might know where we're going. Slowly, hug the elbows in, shoulders forward, so keep leaning forward, even your belly comes down to the pillow. But stay there, try not to crush the pillow. Just keep it there, shoulders forward, that's it, or shoulders back, elbows in, bring the weight more forwards. And now, with your toes tucked underneath, I want you just to lift maybe one leg. Yep, stay there, keep your core active. Maybe take it down, maybe the other. If you're feeling good here, you can lift both. You see how that pillow keeps you a little bit supported? Stay there, shoulders up, shoulders up. Hold for 3, press back to your heels, 2, and drop the knees, press up, and slowly come back. Nice. So you can keep doing that. All right, if you're in, it's the beauty of practicing from home is you can always use your props to help you in your practice, or just tools. Use your pillow. I love using the pillow for this kind of exercise. If you like, take it a step further. You can remove the pillow or the prop away from underneath of you. Let's come to a high plank. So we'll put it all together. Come to a high plank. Reach back for your heels, shoulders over the wrists, press into the palms and lift your upper back. Here we go. Now tighten your thighs. Lift the back of your knees to the ceiling. Lift the hips up a little bit, that's okay. That's it. Press into the mat, breathe in. Let's do one with the knees first. Knees down, elbows in, come down, shoulders in line with the elbows. That's it. Keep pulling the shoulders back, elbows in, squeeze, 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 squeeze. Keep your core engaged. And inhale, come back up. Sit back onto the heels. Just as a little stretch before we come into the final, last part. Take your hands behind you, interlace your fingers. Reach your knuckles behind you towards the back of the mat. Lift the chin, just open the front of your chest. Good. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more. And release. Very good. Here we go. Last one. Come forward. You got it. Shoulders over the wrists. Tuck your toes underneath. Lift the legs up. Come into a high plank. Reach back to the heels. Engage your thighs. Yep. Press into the mat so the upper back starts to lift. Now, if you need, you can take your knees down to the mat, or we're going to come into the low Chaturanga Dandasana position. Hug the elbows in, weight forward, right? So press off of your toes. Weight forward, elbows in, shoulders back. That's it, a little bit further up, not lower than your elbows. Keep pressing into your hands, spread your fingers. That's it. If you like, you can inhale, push up into an upward facing dog, untuck your toes. Open your chest, lift your chin, and exhale, press back, downward facing dog. Nice. Knees to the mat, sit back onto the heels. Beautifully done, very nice. I'm just going to show you really quickly what the Chaturanga Dandasana looks like in its most traditional form. So what they used to do was transition from a Chaturanga into upward facing dog, back to Chaturanga, downward facing dog, which is a very strength-based sequence. I'll show you what that looks like. You inhale, come forward, shoulders forward, exhale, Chaturanga. Inhale, upward facing dog. Exhale, Chaturanga, downward facing dog. One more time, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, downward facing dog. Could you imagine doing that? Forget how many it is, but I think it's like 60 or 70 times over the course of an hour practice. Really, really strong. So well done. Thanks for joining me. Hope you learned a little bit here in this session, and I'll see you again soon.